Welcome to Scott's Thoughts, episode and newsletter number 1. Does it ever feel as if the modern world is pushing you to buy a house, get educated, while still working, trying to come up with your own investment plan, stay active, and connect with people without ever speaking to them? If you've ever felt like that, I don't think you're alone. Personally, I'm not convinced that this is progress. Welcome to Scott's Thoughts. In this time of rapid transformation, both for myself and the world around us, I need a place to get my thoughts out, kind of out on paper, per se. I find that writing is one of the best ways to process complicated ideas. My hope is that after 25 years of working in the housing market, the financial industry, doing sales and sales coaching, the frame through which I'm seeing these changes can be helpful for you, our listeners, and our readers. There's a confluence of events, or in other words, 3 megatrends I see that are changing not only the world of sales, how sales teams operate, but also the overall structure of sales organizations. At a deeper level, these trends are affecting almost every facet of our society and our daily lives. What I aim to do in this inaugural newsletter is address each of these 3 trends one by one, beginning with the first one. We are moving to a contactless society. There is a shift towards systematically removing human connection, often at a business and a societal cost that I don't think we fully understand. The business world, social media, and society at large is doing everything it can to move us away from real human interactions, and it scares me. Personally, I think it should scare you too. Think about this. Some of the most influential businesses of our time are trying to move us towards a contactless society. Many of the unicorn companies of the last 2 decades that have gotten a lot of press, Peloton, Instacart, Reddit, DoorDash, Mint, which was bought and rebranded by Rocket Mortgage to Rocket Money, Netflix, Coursera, Substack, Slack, they're all built on the idea of disconnecting us from the perceived annoyances of interacting with these pesky little things called humans. All of these businesses have the goal of removing humans from interacting with each other at the gym, at the store, in the movie theater, at work, and in the educational institutions. Even reading a newspaper at a bus stop, which could have sparked conversations with a stranger years ago, or having a political conversation around a bar, is going away. It's been replaced by ordering an Uber or a Waymo, piloted mostly by a faceless driver or no driver at all, where we listen to a podcast catered to our existing beliefs, while we comment anonymously on a Reddit post discussing a topic with people who will probably never meet in person or might be a Russian bot. In some ways, we're living through a paradigm shift where humans are being trained to not interact with other humans. Post-COVID, multiple studies point in basically the same direction. Fewer close relationships, fewer friendships, fewer in-person interactions, more isolation, and a push to do business with no human interaction at all. And frankly, I think it's only getting worse. The amount of teenagers who say they meet up or connect with friends outside of school at least once a day has dropped from well below, 90% in the 1980s and 1990s to just under 25% as of 2020. Current estimates show this number closer to 10%. The current crop of teenagers who believe that social media interaction is more fulfilling or in some ways more necessary than human engagement has skyrocketed. Another recent study shows that from 1990 to 2021, men and women reported a 60 to 70% drop in the number of people that they considered close friends. The number of men who reported having no close friends increased by 500%. The number of women who recently said that they had no close friends increased by almost 1,000%. The most alarming stat that I found was from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the BLS, showing that humans post-COVID have had more than a 50% drop-off in face-to-face or in-person contact with other human beings. In less than a decade, humans have eliminated 50% or more of the very interactions that make us human. And if you're wondering what this has to do with you, your career, your life, we're going to get there in a moment, and especially in the next newsletter, so hang on. But first, let me talk about trend number 2. Trend number 2, which is really pertinent right now for business professionals and sales professionals, is the eradication of the mediator educator, or advisor class of professionals. Especially in the housing and financial services industry, the push is to get rid of knowledge workers, to rid consumers of having to waste time with a human. From class action lawsuits against the National Association of Realtors, to fintech companies trying to remove financial planners in favor of robo-advisors, to mortgage companies claiming to be able to get you a home loan with the click of a button. Humans are being pushed out of pivotal roles in the pursuit of profit and the perception of convenience. For the financial professional or the salesperson who has spent a lifetime gathering knowledge to help clients, this is a demoralizing turn of events. Maybe you've felt this. Even at the company level of these firms, things are changing drastically. In our post-COVID world, businesses are rapidly moving towards a decentralized, office-less business model that often leaves sales teams feeling lonely or rudderless. Until 2020, I, like many other financial professionals, thrived by working in an in-person environment. Like the prolific podcaster and author Scott Galloway has said on his podcast many times, ideas need to have sex to spawn new ideas. That only happens in person. However, I understand the allure of this. When I was working in person, did team members waste some time around the water cooler talking about the bad referee in last night's Steelers game? Or did they spend 20 minutes gossiping about last week's Game of Thrones episodes? Yeah, of course they did. It happened. However, did the in-person nature of office culture prior to 2020 help amazing marketing and sales ideas be spawned? Did it create friendly rivalries among salespeople that helped drive production? Did it allow for problems to be solved quickly and in person without the confusion of 27 emails going back and forth? Did it create better relationships and retention rates when the team could grab a beer together after work? I think it absolutely did. Which brings us to the third trend that represents the focus of the issue here today. AI is reshaping the way business is done rapidly. AI is changing business operations and the way that consumers interact with businesses at a breakneck pace. Recently, my partner in the mortgage space, Leah, who's taken over my pipeline as the mortgage professional in our world, she received the following email from a prospective homebuyer, which I paraphrased below, and I'm going to read you the email because it's relevant. Hello, my name is so-and-so. I'm planning to purchase a condo in the area, and I'm currently selecting a mortgage broker to work with. I prefer to communicate by email at this stage. Please do not ask me for a phone call. I'm hoping you can provide a written response to the questions below. A high-level view of my situation. First-time buyer, target price $300,000, property type, condo, owner-occupied primary residence, household income, etc., etc., credit score, etc., etc. Questions for you, the loan officer. How much do you experience? Do you have closing condo loans, specifically with HOA approvals? What loan programs would you typically recommend for somebody with our profile? Do you charge a broker fee? How do you handle HOA reviews? How do you handle master insurance policies? If a condo HOA fails approval with one lender, are you able to pivot to another lender? What is your typical timeline to close a condo loan once you're under contract? Who would be my primary point of contact during the loan process? How do you typically communicate with clients? And what is your average response time? If it's helpful, I can also provide an income and credit snapshot by email. Thank you for your time. I'm speaking with several mortgage brokers to understand my options and see who I work best with. I appreciate a detailed written response as they may help me make an informed decision. Best wishes, etc. For context, in my 25-year career as a loan officer, I closed over 3,000 loans and took well over 10,000 mortgage applications. No potential first-time homeowner has ever sent me an email like this. This email was clearly written by AI. What struck me most about the email was the second to last line. I'm speaking with several mortgage brokers to understand my options and see who I work best with. This legitimately made me laugh out loud. This client is not speaking with several mortgage brokers to see who works best with them. She's using an email written by AI to gather more information than she could possibly process as a first-time buyer. Should I put this email back into my AI to come up with a response so she can put my response back into her AI and then our AIs can just talk to each other back and forth? This is not the world that sales professionals should want to live in. It doesn't help anybody. It doesn't help the consumer, and it doesn't showcase the professional and their skills that they offer. This email request falls into the modern phenomenon of thinking that data is the same thing as knowledge or wisdom. Buying a home is the largest investment or financial decision that most Americans will make in their lifetime. Not being willing to have a conversation with a seasoned professional about the process is doing the homeowner and the mortgage professional a massive disservice. I think the sales professional and even humans have a choice. We have this choice to drift into isolation, accept that the future is contactless and be completely disconnected, or we can deliberately rebuild human-centric connections. We can build microcommunities, which we'll dive into the definition of that in our next episode, in our next newsletter. And we can improve the process that optimizes for actual human connection. In my next newsletter, I'll dig into the framework that I think might help those of you who feel like I do, so you can create the type of local, in-person communities that I personally love being part of. Frankly, I think this shift is needed, and it represents a massive competitive advantage for those that lean into a contrarian type of paradigm. I'm hoping that these words will resonate with you. One of my goals this year is to connect with a select number of salespeople, sales leaders, and entrepreneurs to help not only articulate the frustration that many of us are feeling right now, but more importantly, explore solutions to these problems alongside of each other. I found that these solutions are not always obvious on the surface, and I'm looking forward to brainstorming with you. In fact, many of the solutions are unconventional. Some are perhaps going to sound very unpopular, and most importantly, they require a contrarian way of looking at the world. Fixing the problems I addressed above is going to be the topic of our next issue in this series, which will be coming right around the corner. So please stay tuned, subscribe, leave a comment, shoot me an email at scottsthoughtsnewsletter@gmail.com. By the way, none of this that I just read, even though I was kind of reading into the screen here, was written by AI, my assistant, or a ghostwriter. Just me, a real person who probably made a few typos in the email above, or maybe I stumbled on my words a few times here. But my invitation to you is this. If you're feeling any of these forces, AI moving at a breakneck speed, moving towards a contactless society, the elimination of the advisor class. If you're feeling any of these, do me a favor and subscribe here wherever you're getting this information, whether it be a podcast or on YouTube. I will personally read through every comment and every response I get this year to my newsletter. Hearing from you would not only mean the world to me, but it would also help me shape upcoming issues of this newsletter. As a bonus, I'll be doing my best to individually respond to each email and comment that I receive across all platforms, although hopefully we'll get popular enough that might be a little challenging. So here's goodbye until the next time I have a couple hours to think, and we'll make sure that we get the next episode out here within the next 2 weeks. By the way, funny situation, right? Considering what I said about AI. Some of the graphics or the charts or the inserts that you might see on some of these podcasts or episodes or in my newsletter, they were in fact created by AI, because I really just don't have 10,000 hours to put into the design work. I don't see AI as the enemy. I see it as a solution to certain problems, but not all of our problems. Till next time, this is Scott Groves with Scott's Thoughts. Thanks for listening.